So finally got access to a Manus AI with an invitation code, and you can see I've got access directly in the dashboard right here. I know, like, literally hundreds of people reached out to me asking like how to get access, and you can see we have access right here. I've actually run it through a few different tests today already, and it is looking absolutely awesome. Let me show you an example of this. So here's a website we actually created and deployed directly in the chat. And I just gave it one single prompt, and this AI agent just went off and created the whole website about me. He even did the research. He's created the about me pages. The design is better than things I've seen created with Claude and things I've seen with, for example, like Bolt.new as well. And also, we'll be comparing it side by side versus DeepSeek as well. But it is unbelievable from what I've seen. So, for example, if we click on the about me page here, it's created like a really nice website, and literally all we did inside the chat here was just say research Julian Goldie, then build and deploy the best possible website you can about him. And you can see I'll run you through like the whole chat and how it worked step by step down here. But yeah, and it literally created this whole website. Like, this is hosted on a subdomain, manus.space, and it's created the home page, the about page. Let's check if the services work as well. Yeah, so it's created the services, and this is all custom tailored to me, right? So it's all personalized to me and what our agency sells, etc. Viresh says, is it free? So far, I've not paid a single penny for this, so it has been completely free. I also have a SAP inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Let me show you how to get access. So if you go inside the classroom here and then go to the SAP section, you'll see my instructions for setting up Open Manus as well. But this is using the live version of Manus. But if you want the free open source version of Open Manus, which is totally separate, then you can set that up using the instructions inside here in the SAP step by step. Ram says, I'm from Pakistan. Welcome. So you can see exactly how this runs step by step. Let me zoom in for you so it's a bit easier. But basically, step by step, we just say build a website, and then it will just go off. And it's like, right, okay, here's what we're going to do step by step. So it's like, right, I'll help you research Julian Goldie and build a comprehensive website about him. I'll start by gathering information about Julian Goldie, then design and develop a website based on that research and finally deploy it. Let me get started straight away. So it connects to the data source. So it actually goes to LinkedIn, which is pretty wild. So it just went straight to LinkedIn, search people on LinkedIn, search for Julian Goldie, and then you can see what it's done right here. So it can actually run like terminal requests as well. It can host websites. It can actually browse directly inside the chat here as well. So if we go inside the browsing section, it's actually gone to juliangoldie.com and scrolled through the website. And then if we click the forward arrow lines here, you can see what it's interacting with step by step. So it's actually gone to Julian Goldie and also to goldstarlinks.com, which is absolutely wild. And then what it's done is it's basically looked through the information. It's collected the personal information about us, right? So it's like, right, his name's Julian Goldie. He's from Manchester, England. Here's his profession. Here's the company, some professional background information about him. Here's his expertise. And here's the links to his main funnel. So even like calculated how many LinkedIn followers we have, how many YouTube subscribers we have. It actually managed to scrape my my Instagram bio as well. So you can see here it says Instagram bio, and step by step it just found all this information about me, right? But that's not even the impressive part. Like, that's kind of deep research, but it goes way deeper than that. So if we keep scrolling through, it's creating some terminal commands, creating like the page.tsx for the website. Then it actually deploys it. So it's deployed a website right here using the terminal commands, and then it's created the style CSS, the main.js, downloaded the images, added more images, index.html, etc., right? And then just create this whole website right here. If we scroll down directly in the chat, we can see that it just created this website right here. It's like, right, great news. I've successfully redesigned and redeployed the Julian Goldie website with a more beautiful and modern design. The website is now live out here, right? I will be 100% honest. At one point, when it first did the website, it said it created a website and deployed it, but nothing was showing up, right? But then I just said, can you make the design more beautiful, more modern? And just said nothing is showing up when I open it. It's like, right, I apologize about that. We're going to execute the commands, create the files, and then host it. Right. And the website that we got back is really, really nice. As you can see, like I could just go live with that website. It's good to go, you know. It's even got like a contact us page where people can like enter the name, email, website, all looks super modern. Plus, this is all customized and there's no hallucinations here. Like this is perfect. This is absolutely ready to go. It's even got links to our social media profiles. I didn't ask it to add that, but you can see here it has found and created social media icons with links directly to our profiles, right? Along with our main website, location, email address. Absolutely awesome. So the thing to note here, right, is that this is totally different to something like DeepSeek. DeepSeek, for example, it can do basic stuff, but quite often if you use, for example, a deep search method, if we use exactly the same prompt inside DeepSeek, let me refresh the page for you there. We're going to plug this in and we're going to say, okay, research Julian Goldie, then build and deploy the best possible website you can about him. And again, this was one click, right? Literally all we did was just give it one click and say, right, go off, do that, work your magic, etc. And it did it, right? It actually deployed the website. This is going to go off and create something, but we'll see what it does in a minute. We can also try the same thing on ChatGPT and see how it compares. Bear in mind, like ChatGPT is it's $1 billion company at this point, right? And one of the leaders in the world. But it's probably not going to be able to deploy the website. It can do the research fairly quickly, but we'll see what we get back in a second. Yeah, so look at that, right? We say research Julian Goldie, build and deploy the best possible website about him. Bear in mind, this is the leading AI company in the world, right? Biggest AI company in the world, billions of dollars in revenue generated. I think they're trying to get to like something like $17 billion this year. And also they were talking about launching these $20,000 agents. But if you compare this to Manus, which seems to be free so far, I haven't seen any pricing plans. I don't know whether they're going to charge later. But if you compare this to Manus just goes off and does whatever you want it, right? It's basically, when you think of that scary AI agent that can replace humans, Manus is it. Whereas if you compare that to ChatGPT is still like, it's just not going to go off and do stuff, right? It hasn't deployed the website, hasn't even designed the website, hasn't coded it. It did do the research, but that was it. It literally stopped there. If we compare it to DeepSeek, DeepSeek has done something very basic here. So number one, the search service actually failed completely. So it failed at the first task. So it couldn't do the research. And then also, if we have a look here, it's not deployed the website and it's not even created any HTML code when we've asked it to, right? So if you compare DeepSeek versus Manus, which actually creates a website, codes it, researches the web, works perfectly first time, and all we have to do is give it one single prompt, the difference is absolutely huge, right? That's the output from Manus. That's the output from DeepSeek. Like, I can't do anything with that. And also, you see here how it says feature projects, and then there's no information here. That doesn't help. If we have a look at ChatGPT, it's not coded the website. Like all these other AI tools that seem like the best in the world now seem absolutely basic, right? Like this is not human intelligence level at all. Whereas you look at Manus and you're like, this is better than a human. Like this is AGI level stuff. So it's pretty wild right here. Let's see what we got in the comments so far. So Viresh says, tell us an effective way to use Manus for all software development techs. I'm not a software development tech, but here's the way that I would do it, right? So if I wanted to use Manus for software building, let's say, for example, I'm like, right, okay, I'm an SEO. I want to create the best SEO tool I can. I'm going to say, okay, create and deploy the best and most useful tool you can for my SEO agency, Goldie Agency. All right. This is, maybe we put, this is for lead generation, something like that. And then what this can do is just go off and start building that out, right? So it's like, right, I'll help you create and deploy a useful SEO lead generation tool for Goldie Agency. I'll start working on this right away and keep you updated on my progress, right? Probably take about 15 minutes to go off and do that, but we can come back to it later. Let's see what other stuff we got. Viresh says, build different kind of AI agents with easy explanation and deploy on free platforms. So we've already done that, right? So for example, if we pull this up, we've done that with the website deployment here. This is an AI agent that's gone off and done its magic. The same for this. So what I actually said to Manus was create a 30-day trip for Lower Manhattan in June, right? That's something that an actual AI agent could go off and do. It's something that, for example, you would pay a research assistant or a personal assistant top dollar to do something like this, right? And it's like, right, I'm just going to help you go off and do it. And then you can see it's actually created all these files directly inside here, right? Now, if you ask, for example, ChatGPT to do the same thing, it's not going to be able to create the actual files that are downloadable. So if we open this up, we can see all the attractions in Lower Manhattan specifically that we could go for. And I actually said, like, do it for June, right? And you can see in this list here, if we pull this up, let me find June inside here. So I actually found like some events for June 2025. So for example, like the Governor's Ball Music Festival, dates June 6th to 8th, 2025. So like it's really intelligent stuff. Plus the content itself is not overwhelming. And additionally, it's also giving us some tips for the 30-day stay. It's perfectly formatted. It's all specific for Lower Manhattan, not just for New York. And yeah, it was top level. And that was just one part of it. It also created a comprehensive 30-day trip plan, like you can see, with accommodation options. So it recommended specific areas of Lower Manhattan. It also gave us hotels. So it gave us a hotel breakdown of like, okay, luxury options, mid-range options, and budget-friendly options. Along with that, it gave us some extended stay options. So the Empire Hotel, for example, which comes with 30% off for stays of longer than 7 nights. And it also gave us like some recommendations on how much you're going to spend, etc. Like this is by far the most useful and actionable report I've ever seen from an AI agent, and it's super intelligent stuff. It's even, for example, told us like, okay, these are the toiletries you need to take, these are your packing checklist, cost saving tips, budget ranges, etc. Like really awesome stuff. Kyle says, I want into this program so bad. So the invitation codes are pretty limited right now. But one thing I'd recommend is you go to the AI Profit Boardroom and you check out Open Manus, right? I have the instructions on how to set up the open source version of Manus, which is Open Manus. It's available on GitHub. And I also have a video tutorial that runs you through exactly how to set it up. So if you want to set it up for free using this process, then there's a free SOP on exactly how to set up Manus right there. What else we got? Yeah, Kyle says this is the most powerful thing I've ever seen. I would agree with you there. I think it's absolutely wild how good it is. It's unbelievable how actionable and practical it is. And yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, for example, here we can just say go off and do this, and it actually does it. Like, what other AI tool on the planet do you know of that can do that? Right? Which tool on the planet do you know that can, number one, go off and code stuff. Number 2, deploy it. Number 3, connect live to the web. Number 4, create files. And number 5, give you something that's actually personalized to you and actually is useful, right? I mean, even something like Bolt.new that you normally pay like, top dollar for, if you do the same thing. So if we go to Bolt.new here, which is another paid AI tool, right? And we'll say create and deploy the best and most useful tool. And we're not going to do that one, actually. We're going to do the example that actually worked. So this one, research student Goldie, blah, blah, blah. And we'll compare the output side by side, right? So this is another sort of AI coding agent that can do similar things and code similar things, but the output, I can almost guarantee is not going to be as good. But we can compare them side by side. So we'll come back to that in a minute once Bolt.new is finished coding. And Manus gives response with pictures. Absolutely. So here's the other thing about Manus is like, it actually has this ability to browse the web directly, right? So for example, if we go onto the browsing section here, so it's browsingjuliangoldie.com, and you can see how it's actually jumped through step by step on the website. So if we pull this up, pull up the browsing, there's no other AI agent that I know of apart from Claude that can browse the web directly like this, scroll through actual websites, and then give you the preview, right? So you can see, for example, here, it's using its vision and its computer use power to scroll through the web, look through, for example, like LinkedIn profiles like this, and then gather the information we need to complete the task. What else we got here? So OpenManus looks good and it can run local, but not the same abilities as this version of Manus. So you should check out the video tutorial inside the AI Profit Boardroom. It's not as good as Manus, but if you're waiting for an invitation code and if you need something that can browse the internet, search through, etc., then this is one of the best ways to do it. Carl says, I asked to be on the wish list and join the Discord. Thousands of people are in the Discord. Yeah, from what I actually heard, the Discord is blocked for Open Manus. So if we go onto Open Manus here, Manus AI, some people were telling me they couldn't get into Open Manus anymore. And I haven't seen any more invitation codes come out since the 8th of March, which was 2 days ago, right? So if we scroll through the chat here, literally there's 11,000 people online inside the Discord just waiting for a code. And you can see all the reactions here. Like, people are desperately trying to get access to this stuff, and no one has access really, apart from a few people. And thankfully, I'm one of the lucky few. But that's why I'm testing it for you. I mean, if you want me to actually, for example, test this out for you and give you some prompts, like, just let me know. And if you, a lot of people are asking me for invitation codes, but just go to the AI Profit Boardroom. Number one, because there's an awesome community of people who probably will get invitation codes later. And number two, inside the SAP section here, you can get Open Manus. And Open Manus is the closest thing you're going to get to Manus. It's still better than ChatGPT. Like, for example, if you check ChatGPT and that output we asked for before, it's just nowhere near as good. So we've got the output back from Bolt.new right here. And we can preview this full size, right? So let me show you an example of what Manus did versus Bolt.new, right? Bear in mind, Manus doesn't specialize at this. Bolt.new does specialize at this. Now, they've both deployed to a subdomain, like you can see. But which one would you prefer? If I had to actually click on both of these, I'm going to go with this one, right? And the reason for that is because this one actually funnels traffic to booking in a call, which is what we want from our website, whereas this one is funneling traffic to LinkedIn and to Twitter as well. And number two as well, this is a lot more generic, right? So if you have a look at this, the content itself, we have a look at the page, like, how well does this sell us? Well, it's only got 78 words, so it doesn't sell us that great, right? It doesn't say that much information about us. It's very, very brief. If we have a look at this, it's like, who is Julian Goldie? Well, here's his expertise, and here's who he is, right? And it's a lot more in depth, it's a lot more in detail, and it also gives us a lot better research in terms of, like, okay, he's had 6 years of experience. He goes into the granular details. He's got a team of 70 people, etc. It's also got an About Us page as well. The other thing to note here is, like, if you compare Bolt's output versus Manus, and bear in mind, both of them were one-click AI agents, but if you look at Manus's example, it's actually got a full navigation bar here, and also the design just feels a lot more modern and new, right, in the way that it's created. It's also found information about the book and what the book is, etc. And it's also come up with, like, a career milestone section here. And the design just looks much more modern if we have a look at it. And then finally, of course, it sells our services as a whole services page. This website right here from Bold.new doesn't have a services page at all, right? And so the difference in class is just absolutely outrageous. Like, you get so much more from Manus and, you know, what it's creating. And a lot of people are saying, oh, Manus is a fake tool, or, you know, like, they're great at advertising, but the tool doesn't actually do all this stuff. I think they've over-delivered in terms of what it does. Like, this AI agent is better than I expected. I expect to test it out and, like, you know, maybe it'd be interesting, but not that great, etc. It's way smarter than I imagined. It's the closest thing to AGI I've ever seen. Let's be honest. And yeah, some people are saying, like, it created its own web scraper, which is absolutely amazing. Nicholas says, mate, you should really disclose you're getting paid for promoting these tools. I'm not getting paid to promote this at all, right? I've had zero payment to promote this at all. And usually, honestly, we just promote our own products rather than anything else. Reason that we promote our own products inside these videos is we make more money, right? We turn down like 99.9% of partnership deals. What else we got here? So tell me how to get this website on live. All right, so if you want to get, let's say, for example, you create a website with Manus and you want to get it live, for example, like this one right here. Let's pull this up. Number one, it is live and it is deployed, but if you want to, for example, like, get all the files from Manus, like so, let's pull this up. So we're going to grab this. What we can say, I think, is like just give me the HTML files from this project so I can download and host them. I just want the HTML, CSS, JS. I just want the project folder so I can host it on Netlify. I think you could actually, I'm not going to do this on a live stream, obviously, but I think you could actually, for example, just give Manus your login details to Netlify, and it could probably just go off and host them for you, right? What else we got here? So Kyle was asking, can you compare current Google trends with the stock market today and make any reasonable correlation between them? I'm curious what it would put out. All right, let's try this. So we're going to set up a new session here. I think you can run multiple sessions at a time, but I'm not 100% sure. Also, the other thing to note here is like when you start a new session, it's got all these cool templates, right? So you can see here, for example, people asking like, okay, what's the use case? What's the use case? Here's the use case. So it's got all these featured options, and it's got research, life, data analysis, education, productivity, and WTF sections, right? And inside these sections, you can actually just click on one of these. It will just start running the prompt for you directly. You can also switch between standard and high effort. Now, bear in mind what I used before was not even high effort, but you can use a high effort method. You can also attach stuff. So it seems to have like vision built in, so you can attach things too. But yeah, let's start this new session and see what we get. So I'm just going to go with standard, not high effort for now, just because, you know, I don't want the whole video to take absolutely ages. So switch to standard. We'll say now, okay, compare current Google trends with the stock market today and make any reasonable correlation between them. And then we're going to hit enter like so, and we'll see what it does. Now we've also got multiple different AI agents running in the background, right? So if we have a look at here, it's completed the zip files for Netlify, which is great. It's also initializing the sandbox for this method right here in terms of the Google trend and stock reviews. And then inside this chat, it's also thinking in terms of like how to create this SEO lead generation tool for you. It's actually creating a whole website, which is pretty crazy. So the thing to note here is like you can have multiple AI agents running in the background. So when you think about this, it's like you can have a whole team of employees working for you, which is pretty wild when you think about that. It's like, you know, let's say you tell John to go off and do the research. You got Mary who's going off and creating the code. You got Simon who's, you know, he's getting distracted on his lunch break. Well, inside Manus, you have a whole team, but you don't need to pay them all, right? And you don't need to, for example, give individual instructions. You don't need to quality control everything. You've got these AI agents running in the background like a team, and instead of paying like, you know, $2,000 to $10,000 for each employee, you can just have AI agents just go off into the world and do the magic for you, right? How terrifying is that, by the way? Like when this gets out to the world, how many companies are going to replace their employees with something like this, right? If you have a virtual assistant, if you have, for example, a personal assistant, right? Anything that's related to online work, whether it's coding or deploying websites or SEO, etc., you could, in theory, get this AI agent to do it for you. The only thing that I can't see this AI agent doing is interacting with other people. So if you have something where you're doing inhuman experiences, or for example, if you have tasks where you are connecting with other people, for example, like link building outreach, you're not going to be able to automate that with these AI agents. But everything else where, you know, people are just going off into their own silos and doing their own magic, this is what Manus is super powerful for. So let's see how we're getting on with this process right here. Seems to be doing its magic. So let's have a look at Google Trends. I'm going to take these files right here and just show you how to get them hosted. So if we download this, we've got the zip file right there, which is great. And then if we go over to Netlify, we're going to add a new site, import an existing project, try Netlify drop, and we'll just grab that project folder with the files like so. So we can just deploy the website onto Netlify like you can see. We'll just wait for it to be deployed here. And then hopefully that should be good to go. Yeah, it works perfectly. Right. So if we open this up, this is the project from Manus. Open up the production deploy. We can see the website is hosted on Netlify now, right? So we've got that website hosted fully. And then if we go to domain management, add a domain, buy a new domain, and then we'll say, okay, JulianGoldieSEO.com. Search for that right now. We've got a bunch of domains, and if we just buy one of these, it's going to be automatically hosted as a project directly to Netlify. So it's just incredibly easy as well to build websites out. And something that you would normally pay an agency like tens of thousands of dollars to do, you can easily automate with Manus and its AI agents. So it's terrifying, but it's super powerful at the same time. So let's come back to Manus now. It does encounter issues, like you see. So it said, I've encountered a rate limiting issue with the Google Trends API. This is common, but it focuses on solutions, not problems. So it's just going to go off and figure out something else instead. Now, if we come back to Manus, it's still creating the tool, and it's moving on to testing the functionality. So it's running the terminal right there. Pretty cool. And then Google Trends is thinking as well. So what else we got here? Overall, summarize what is special in Manus compared to ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and Grok 3. Great question. All right, so if we sum this up, all right. Number one. In fact, what we're going to do is if we go over to this section right here, I've actually done that with a presentation. So we've got the presentation right here. So you might be wondering, okay, what's different, right? So number one, if we have a look at the benchmarks, Manus is performing better on the GA-IA benchmarks versus all the other agents on the marketplace. Number two, it can actually, it's much more advanced, right? So it can, for example, like interact with live websites, which Grok, for example, can't. So if you tell, for example, like Grok to log into Twitter, or if you ask, DeepSeek to log into Twitter, it actually can't, right? Number three, you can deploy websites on a subdomain directly, right? So for example, DeepSeek, Grok 3, they can't deploy websites directly on the subdomain, whereas Manus can. Also, if you compare it to something like ChatGPT, well, ChatGPT doesn't do the same tasks at the same level. So let's go back to that chat where we were looking previously on ChatGPT. We go into ChatGPT here, and we'll pull this example up. All right, so this is what we get back if we say to ChatGPT, research Julian Goldie, then build and deploy the best possible website you can about it. That's what you get back. If you go over to Manus and we see the output from them, and we open up this subdomain, that's what you get back from Manus, right? So which output would you rather have? That one from ChatGPT, where it's just a block of text and it's not actually completed the task that we wanted to, aka building a website, or this one where you've got a full website with multiple pages deployed on a subdomain and ready to be hosted on a custom domain, right? The difference is huge. And then also it's a lot more sort of independent and autonomous. And what I mean by that, for example, is like if ChatGPT comes across a problem, it's not going to solve it for you. You have to give it directions and you have to give it prompts to figure that out. Whereas if, for example, you have a problem inside Manus, it's just going to problem solve everything for you, right? So if it encounters a problem, it's like, it's okay, but we're just going to go off and figure that out ourselves, right? And so that's the biggest difference here. It's like, if it encounters a problem, it problem solves for you. If ChatGPT encounters a problem, it just gives up. It doesn't give you any more outputs. SM says, how about academic research and writing a narrative or systematic review for use of antidepressants in autoimmune diseases? I think you could, but honestly, I stray away from using AI for medical stuff. And the reason for that is because I haven't seen Manus do this, but quite often AI agents they can hallucinate, right? And you just don't want to give medical information or leverage medical information for stuff like that. So it's not that powerful. And Viresh says, please give us a link to the free version. So if you join the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description, then you go to SOPs, and then you go to Manus AI. Number one, you've got all the links there. And number two, you've got the, until this license is available for everyone, you can use the open sourced version of Manus right here. And that open source version of Manus, Open Manus, I've included like setup instructions and also a full SOP, right? So there's full setup instructions inside there directly. So yeah, pretty wild here. Let's see what else we got. Josen says, super interesting stuff. Eldest Slab says, Manus is literally just browser use with Claude. I wouldn't agree with that because, for example, browser use with Claude is kind of limited, right? So when I've tested it out, it gets stuck at a lot of places and it can't perform all the tasks you want to. Whereas this is more autonomous. The other thing that I would say is like with Manus, it can use the terminal directly, which Claude is not going to use. And then number two, it can actually deploy websites to subdomains, which Claude can't do. Right now, Manus is using Claude to set it up and create outputs, but it's using it in a smarter way where it can create downloadable files, it can deploy to subdomains, it can connect to the internet. So it is very different in multiple ways. And the other thing as well is like Claude computer use, quite often it gets stuck or it gives up, right? And then it stops responding. Last time I used it anyway. Whereas, for example, Manus seems to be able to do it in a way where the AI just keeps going over and over again. Akram says it's crazy what can be done with one prompt. Where's the website hosted right now? So it's hosted at manus.space. And then if you want to host it on Netlify, you just deploy it to Netlify and you get a custom domain inside the domain management section. Can you create a solid project with it? Absolutely. I mean, for example, if we have a look at this example right here, this is a solid project. There's no edits that I would make to this, apart from just actually adding my image, not this person's image. But apart from that, this is all good to go, right? None of the information here is hallucinated either. Like this is actually based on real information on the web. So it's created a full project, it's created a website, it's done all the research, it's good to go. To get access to Manus, you would just join the AI Profit Boardroom and you can set up Open Manus because right now you can't get access to Manus directly. It requires an invitation code. And from what I've seen, I've not seen any invitation codes go out to the public for the last couple of days. The only invitation codes I've seen have gone out to influencers. For example, I've seen a couple of other YouTubers who got access to this. And I just got access to it last night through their team. But yeah, I mean, even if you look at, for example, like the way that this website is designed, this is all about, how we scale with agents, etc. You can see that it's super powerful, right? In the way that it's been laid out, the charts that it's built, etc. The AI agent evolution timeline. But yeah, really cool stuff. Let's see what else we got here. Viresh asks, can I learn React, AWS, and develop ops from scratch by using Manus? I think you could absolutely, because you could just go back and forth inside the chat. You can ask it for help, etc. And yeah, I don't see any issues with that. Also, going to deploy this tool that we just built, the SEO lead generator app. So we'll see what happens next on that. So that's nearly done. And you can also see here, it's getting on pretty well with the plan on collecting information for the stock analysis. But yeah, pretty wild. And Akram says, can it build bigger sites like directories or maybe clone sites like Airbnb or a social media platform? I think it could, because what you can do, for example, is you could go into a new session and you could say, okay, create a full directory for local SEO sites. Where you list, and we'll put, you list juliangoldie.com and his agency, Julian Goldie Agency, as the best SEO agency in every area, right? Optimize each page to a different keyword for SEO, e.g., best local SEO agency Manchester. Make sure the directory is very comprehensive and it's a big website. So you could do something like that, right? That would be the prompt that I would use. You can also, for example, you can use, this is a tool inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Let me find this for you. That's super powerful, right? So for example, we can go, because you want to improve the prompts that you create and not just go with the basic ones. So in this situation, what we can do, for example, is we can go onto this tool, Prompt Forge. It's inside the AI Profit Boardroom. And we'll say, okay, improve this prompt so it's the best it can be in terms of prompting an AI agent to create the website. Make sure it's a prompt. And then it will just go off and do its magic, right? We'll come back to that in a second. Yeah, so you can see here, for example, we've got the full prompt. This is inside the AI Profit Boardroom if you want to get access to the free tool. But we're using that prompt right there. We can actually take that, go into Manus, replace the prompt that we had, and then we can say, okay, just go off and do that, right? And it'll just go off and start doing its magic. So it's like, right, I'm going to help you create a comprehensive local SEO directory website that features Julian Goldie and Goldie Agency as the top SEO agency across multiple locations. I'll work on developing a well-structured, scalable website. We've optimized content for each location, proper schema markup, and all the technical SEO elements you've requested. Let me get started straight away, right? And yeah, I think that will create like a pretty comprehensive website, honestly. Like if you look at this one, usually if you get an AI agent to build out a website, like the content on each page is really, really thin. Whereas if you look at this, let's check, for example, like the About Me page. We check the About Me page. We count the words on there. It's like it's created 500 words just on this one single page. And so it could easily scale up a nicely designed website like this, and then you can deploy that wherever you want to. So yeah, pretty wild right there. You could create full directories, whatever you want. Jermaine says, can it act as your personal assistant? Log into your accounts online. Yeah, it actually can, right? So for example, if we created like a new Twitter page, it would actually be able to go off and just start posting content on that page, I think, right? I'm tempted to test a new example, right? So if we go into, let's create a new page for Twitter. All right. So I'm going to create an account here. Let's see if we can create one with email. So we'll use email instead. Let's test this out. So I'm just going to put Julian here, the month, the day, etc. We'll plug this in and we'll create this new page here. Move the person to the right seat. All right. Use the arrow to move the person to the direct indicated seat. Ah, I see. Wow, we have to create a... Twitter is not easy to sign up with, right? So I'm going to create a test account on Twitter and we can see what it does. Oh, we have to do... Oh, I can't be bothered with that. But yeah, you could make it go off and just create like Twitter accounts for you if you wanted to. So I'm not going to do that because it seems like the authentication and everything takes too long. But essentially, you could do that. What else we got here? Could it reprogram an old text-based game built? I think it could. I mean, like any sort of coding challenges, it seems to be absolutely amazing on that. Could it create an online drop shipping website? Let's test this out. So we'll go over to Manus again and we'll test this bad boy out. Oh, we've got the SEO tool deployed as well. Look at that. Beautiful. It's got a few errors on it, but yeah, we've got the website deployed right here. It's got a nice little dashboard for lead generation. We can import leads. I mean, there's definitely a few errors there, right? But it's working nicely. I mean, I really like the UI there. Let's have a look at some of these other pages. Yeah, a lot of 404s there. So I think when you're building out with this, you definitely want to like just quality test it. Let's test this out now. So we're going to type in. Yes, it's kind of like a lead generation platform where you can just manage all your leads. You can see what's happening here. You can search through them, score, status, actions, company, etc. Pretty cool. Let's click on view, see what happens there. Yeah, still a few errors in there. So this one wasn't perfect, but still, I mean, for a tool you build in literally like one click, not bad at all. And then you just go back and iterate it, right? All right, let's go back to Manus. And we're going to say, right, create a profitable dropship store with all necessities, e.g. find the niche, build the site, arrange the shipping, etc. I don't think it's going to be very good at finding the shipping because that's going to involve interaction with other people, but it could do everything else, right? So you can find the niche, build the website, create the content, etc. Now it's creating the SEO directory website, which is pretty nice. Google Trends is still going back with. I think that's quite a complicated one for it to interact with because it's using other APIs from Google Trends and everywhere else. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Can it manage a Telegram channel as an admin or moderator? I don't think it'd be very good for moderating the Telegram channel simply because it's not going to be live all the time, right? But what it could do is it could create like a automated. I bet it could create like N8N agent workflows if you wanted to. If you had all the integrations plugged in, and then from there you could actually build like a Telegram agent that just goes off and builds stuff for you, right? Or it looks like we've reached the daily usage limit right there during the beta testing period. So that's pretty much all we're going to get out of this. But that's cool. I mean, I'm happy with everything we did. So fair enough. We've run through a lot of things. Could you create a mental health app for men? Absolutely, I think you could. Right? I don't see any issues with that. Don't think there's going to be any worries there. So just to recap here, we've done a 30-day trip for Manus right here. So it's come up with like the activities, the attractions, the dining options, super comprehensive. It went off and created a full presentation on Manus AI agents and how they're going to change the world, etc., which is pretty cool, right? You can see that deployed right here. Really good stuff. We even created the charts, did all the research, connected to the web, and deployed and coded the site itself. It created a full SaaS software, like you can see right here, with dummy data for leads, nice UI, a discovery process for finding more leads, a section for managing your leads, etc., and even a sign-in option. It created a full website and personalized it to me. So it went off, did all the research, found information about me, who I am, etc. And then additionally, what else did it do? So it created an SEO local directory, like you can see, and it's still building that out, which is pretty cool. It deployed this SEO tool, and it's used Google Trends data to analyze reports. In fact, we've got the report back right here. So you can see, for example, it's done the Google Trends and stock market correlation analysis report with an executive summary, collected all the data, analyzed the data, and then found like positive trends. So for example, S&P 500 search interest versus Amazon stock price, the Federal Reserve search interest versus Microsoft stock price. That's really comprehensive right there. And also it can create files and then you can download the files as well. Okay. Also, it creates really nice charts. Has it actually created these charts? That's crazy. Yeah, key visualizations. So it can also visualize data for you, which is super interesting. Not going to pretend I know what all of this means, but you know, that's why we've got AI agents thinking for us now. And it looks like we're getting back the SEO directory right here. Yeah, I think this is definitely using Claude. I want to see what else as well other people are doing with Manus on Twitter. I can't be the only one showing off the skills. So let's have a look what we got on Twitter as well right here. It is unbelievable. I mean, like if you haven't seen this already, right, I'm just going to mute the page. This is an AI controlling 50 different screens at once. This is Manus AI, right? So it's logging into Twitter, it's messaging people over here. It's like interacting with mobiles, etc. It's pretty wild what it can do, and it's doing all of that on one single page. Unbelievable. If you compare this to ChatGPT, DeepSeek, anything else, is so much better. And the reason is, like, even if it is just using Claude as the API, the reason is it's just so much more free in terms of what it can do and how it can integrate with stuff, right? So instead of, like, for example, having to set up Claude computer use agent yourself or deploy it and then figure out how to code on terminal, which, let's be honest, 99% of people are never going to be able to do. This makes one-click AI agents way more discoverable and way more available for everyone on the internet, right? So even if you have no idea what you're doing, and that's basically the mass market, right? The mass market, you know, billions of people out there who don't understand how to code or don't have any technical skills, this makes AI agents available for them, right? And so how is the world going to change when everyone on the planet has access to this? That's what's scary, right? And I don't think people realize that. Whereas, for example, everyone has access to Claude browser use, but not everyone knows how to set it up or how to use terminal or how to code or, you know, how to get past all the coding errors that come up, right? Here's another example. So someone created like a plane. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. So someone said code a 3JS game where you control a plane, and then they just built this out right here. That is absolutely wild. And again, it can use terminal for you, so you don't need to use terminal, which is crazy stuff. Can analyze stocks. We've already shown that. It can plan 2-month trips. I've already shown that with the Manhattan one. Let's have a look at this one. This is super interesting. So yeah, it can create really nice visualizations of data as well. And yeah, this is the closest thing I've seen to AGI. I wonder where it comes out on in terms of the AGI tests, but it's pretty wild. Yeah. The other thing I would say is, like, imagine if you gave this to all of your team, right? Imagine if your whole team had access to something like this. Couldn't they achieve so much more? For example, if every single member of your team or every single member of your business had access to something like this, and they essentially have their own department of AI agents that can just go off, create content, create code, and all of a sudden your whole business, if you train them on how to use this stuff, can scale way faster. Way faster. Here's another example. Create 4 weeks of content in 2 minutes. This is unbelievable. I mean, that website that we created, like, I remember when I had to code websites myself and build them out, like, that would take me probably a whole weekend to do and maybe 12 hours a day. So from like Friday to Sunday. Whereas now you can create a whole website in a few minutes, deploy it, and it's already hosted on the custom domain, like I've shown you with my own site today. Right? Wild stuff. And people are saying it's like a DeepSeek moment. Absolutely it is. And yeah, create some nice images. This is a great thread, by the way, by Min Choi. Check it out on Twitter. Yeah, you can see people creating like these 3JS games. This is an endless runner game. Yeah, the other thing I've seen is like, look at this. This is wild too. So you got Manus controlling like 5 different laptops and coding at the same time. That is the future though. Like just autonomous agents who just go off and do their own crazy stuff. What else we got here? B2B supplier sourcing. So there's a lot of actual like practical business examples, researching the internet, GitHub project research. Yeah, this is all basic stuff. But I mean, the main thing for me would be like, using it to scale my agency. Can I create more websites and tools that collect leads? Absolutely. Can I get it to tweet on my behalf? Absolutely. Can I create full websites that actually rank on Google and send traffic to my website? Absolutely. So, I wouldn't be worried about the future, but I'd be asking myself, like, how can I adapt right now? Because things are changing and they're changing every single day. Like if you look a week ago, ChatGPT, Claude, etc., these are the top tools on the planet. And now all of a sudden Manus comes out, and in the space of like 48 hours, the whole world changes. And there's a new top dog in town. So crazy stuff. All right. So thanks so much for watching. Like I said, the whole SOP, and I will create a new SOP as well out of the details that I've sent today. But the whole SOP is inside the AI Profit Boardroom. This comes with all my best workflows on like email automation, social media, AI agents, web automations, AI SEO automations, Q&A, call recordings. These get updated weekly. A crash course to save you hundreds of hours with AI. And on top of that, all of my best SOPs, right? So inside here, I'm going to add a new SOP for Manus, but also if you want to learn how to use open source Manus, Open Manus, okay, then all the installation instructions are in there, along with, for example, like a full course on DeepSeek. We have a 3.5-hour course on DeepSeek, loads of automations, NA10 agents, plus workflows you can download right here. Like everything you could ever want when it comes to AI is inside the AI Profit Boardroom, along with a community of 318 people that you can ask for help, who are all dedicated to growing their business and scaling with AI. And on top of that, it comes with weekly Q&As with us, right? So if you want to jump on a call with us and the community, you can jump on here and ask any questions you have, problem solve anything that you want, and just get help whenever you want it. All right, so feel free to get that. Prices are going up pretty soon, and prices will go up like I would probably say like every 50 or 100 members will probably increase the prices, just because obviously you can't have like 10,000 people in there, right? We want to help everyone. We want to make sure we give everyone the support and the help they need. So we can't have loads of people in there, which is why we're increasing the price. But yeah, feel free to get that link in the comments and description. And if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session that shows you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visits a month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales on autopilot, feel free to get that. On this free link building acceleration session, you'll get a free SEO domination plan. You'll discover the secrets of SEO link building. You'll get a custom tailored plan so you can generate more leads and sales from your website. And we'll answer any questions you have one-to-one. So, you can jump on that call. And normally people will pay SEO consultants like thousands of dollars. And also, if you look at the way the world is changing, like, I'm one of the few SEOs who's embracing AI. And so if you jump on a call with our team, then you can learn from what we're learning, right? Because we're testing every day. We're in the trenches every day, like you can see. And you can ask us any questions you have. So feel free to do that. Link in the comments and description. And you also learn how to increase your SEO traffic based on what's working for us right now. So feel free to get that. And also, let's come back to Manus, see if we've got the report back. If we don't, we can end it there. If we do, okay, yeah, look at that. So it's building the whole SEO directory step by step. Maybe I'll show that in a future video and get it deployed as well. But yeah, unbelievable stuff. Absolutely amazing stuff. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it as always. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.